Hey, KAIJU here. Today let's go over the original Gundam Trilogy, Mobile Suit Gundam 1, 2, and 3. They are compilation movies of the first ever Gundam series, released between 1981 to 1982. If you've seen the movies, this video will help you understand the confusing part of the movies. If you haven't seen the movies, this video will help you understand the Universal Sentry a little bit better. Let me know if you like the old school Gundam or the newer Gundams better at the end of the video, and let's do this! In the future, the Earth is overpopulated. Mankind moved to outer space. They built hundreds of space colonies, and everyone lived in peace for decades, until the year 0079. The colony furthest from the Earth declared themselves the Principality of Zeon and started a war against the Earth for their independence. Many people died as a result, and the war continues as the movie begins. Three Zaku sneaks into a colony as it is being evacuated. We meet the main character Amuro, who's tinkering with a computer device. His friends come to get him as they seek for shelter. They drive off. At the other side of the colony, a state-of-the-art mobile suit carrier docks. It's called the White Base. The White Base and Gundam are the Earth Federation's secret weapons against the Zeons. Amuro's father works on a Gundam on board the White Base. As the Earth Federation begin to load prototype mobile suits, the three Zaku that sneak into the colony earlier begin to attack. Knowing that the shelter that Amuro is hiding in won't last, he runs outside hoping to bring everyone to the White Base. It's a war zone out there. Amuro runs into his father, who's trying to load up the Gundam. His father dismisses him and leaves. A nearby explosion killed a crowd of people, including her friend's family. It angers Amuro, and he decides to take matters into his own hands. He jumps into the Gundam and starts it using the manual he found earlier. A nearby Zaku notices and tries to stop him, but was unable to damage it. The Gundam stands up. Even though Amuro is not familiar with the controls, he easily overpowers one of the Zakus and ripped its mouth off. The Zakus decide to retreat. Amuro catches up with them and slices the Zaku in half with his beam saber. However, the explosion blows a hole on the side of the colony. To avoid causing an explosion, he stabs the beam saber directly through the cockpit, avoiding the reactor. After he destroys the two Zakus, Amuro joins the White Base. The shark begins to attack the colony directly outside. The ship's captain is injured from the attacks, making Bright the acting commander. And since there are no other pilots, Amuro is assigned to pilot the Gundam and protect the ship. After the attacks, Char sneaks into the colony to steal the Gundam. Sayla is out looking for survivors. She runs into Char, who turns out to be her long-lost brother, but Char runs away and escapes back to his ship. As the White Base begin to leave the colony, Char, the Red Comet, returns with his custom Zaku and his team to attack the White Base. Although his custom Zaku is able to outmaneuver the Gundam, they were not able to damage the Gundam with their dated machine guns. The Gundam shoots down a Zaku with ease using its beam rifle. Char retreats after knowing that he's outpowered. Afterwards, the White Base heads to Luna 2, a frontline base for the Earth Federation. They were hoping to drop off the refugees and get supplies, but instead, they were forced to head to Jaburo on Earth, the headquarters of Earth Federation. As they descend into the Earth atmosphere, Char and his troops attacks once again. The Red Zaku easily outmaneuvers Gundam, as Char is a much more experienced pilot. Knowing his machine gun won't do much damage, Char attacks Gundam with mostly melee attacks. He gains the upper hand but retreats as they enter the atmosphere. Amuro was not able to return the White Base in time, but he finds out the Gundam is able to enter the atmosphere by itself, as the other Zaku burns up and perishes. Everyone safely enters the Earth, but they were not able to get any help from the Federations, because they are in Zeon airspace. On Earth, Char joined forces with his friend Garma Zabi to take down the White Base. Garma is eager to help as he's trying to prove himself. They attack the White Base. On board the White Base, Amuro refused to get back into the Gundam due to possible PTSD. They deploy Guntank and Guncannon instead to protect the ship, but they are overpowered as the pilots are not experienced. Bright is finally able to convince Amuro to get back to the Gundam after slapping some sense into him. He defeats the Garma team easily after getting back into the Gundam. Both sides retreat as Char enters the battlefield and saves Garma from Gundam. The White Base receives supplies and continues its journey towards Jaburo and escape the Zeon airspace. As they approach the border, Garma and his fleets are desperately in pursuit, as he hopes that once the White Base has been captured, he will finally get the respect he deserves from his family and receive approval for his marriage. Char notices the desperation is clouding Garma's judgment and volunteers to go out to find the White Base. Outside, he finds them hiding inside an abandoned stadium. However, instead of telling Garma where they are, he tells them to continue flying until they fly past the actual location. As Garma's fleet flies overhead, the White Base attack them from behind, destroying most of Garma's fleet. As Garma's fleet is getting destroyed, Char calls Garma and tells him that even though they're friends, he's the one that sets him up, as he is seeking revenge on the Zabi family. Char laughs as Garma is surprised by the betrayal. In the end, Garma attempts to ram his battleship into the white base, but it was destroyed before he reaches it. At the Zabi family headquarters, everyone saddened by Garma's passing. The head of the Zeon, Degin, is especially saddened as Garma is his favorite son and is starting to grow tired of the war against the Federation. Back on Earth, the white base hides near a shore. It's near Amuro's hometown on Earth, so he goes out to look for his mother. He finds her at a refugee camp, but he has to hide because the Zeon soldier finds his CORP fighter outside and comes in to check. His mother hides him in a bed, but as the soldiers get close, he shoots and kills one of them as they become suspicious. His mother is terrified of how the war has changed Amuro, but her naivety angers Amuro. He flies off to attack the nearby Zeon base, and he retreats back to the white base. In the end, he decides to leave his mother to continue fighting the war. At the Principality of Zeon, the Zabi family holds a funeral for Garma, as the crowd cheers the Zabi family name in unison. They order Ramba Rao, an experienced Zeon soldier, to pursue and destroy the white base to avenge Garma's death. Back on Earth, he finds them and attacks him in his goof and a team of Zakus. Amuro is surprised by the strength of the goof, as it's stronger than a typical Zaku. Ramba briefly gains the upper hand, but has to retreat as the rest of the white base begin their attacks. At Garma's funeral, Garma's brother Giren used the opportunity to rally the Zeon forces to fight under him, gaining more support from the Zeon people than his father Degin. On Earth, Ramba Rao continues their pursuit in the desert, where they attack the white base again. Sayla, who wishes to prove herself as a pilot, decides to launch in the Gundam without approval. She is beaten badly and is saved by Amuro in a Guncannon. She is punished by solitary confinement as a result. At night, Ramba Rao attacks again. Bright orders Amuro to launch in a Gundam, but instead he disobeys and launches in a Guntank, which puts everyone in danger. In the end, even though the battle was won, Bright wants to remove Amuro as a pilot of the Gundam. As the result, Amuro decides to leave the white base and takes the Gundam with him. In the desert, Amuro hides the Gundam in the sand and heads to a town to look for water. As he reaches a tavern in town, he runs into Ramba Rao and his team. Amuro is surprised to find them very friendly, even though they're enemies. However, his perception quickly changes, as Ramba Rao finds the location of the white base and launches an attack. Amuro gets back to his Gundam to help his teams. He comes face to face with Ramba Rao, but this time they're fighting in their mobile suits. The goof is destroyed and Ramba escapes. Amuro is locked up in a cell as punishment for taking the Gundam without permission. Ramba's forces attack the white base once again, but this time they're ordered to capture it undamaged, so they directly infiltrate the white base in person. While Ramba is on the white base, he runs into Sayla, who he recognizes as Artesia, who he is taken care of when she was a kid. However, the reunion is cut short as Ramba Rao is shot and heavily injured. Realizing Artesia is on board, he orders a retreat and he kills himself with a grenade. After the battle, the Earth Federation launches an attack on the Zeon mining facility in Odessa. Their goal is to cut off the Zeon supplies, as that's where they get their raw materials from. The base is run by General Makuve, Vase Enthusiast. As the white base is getting supplies to head to Odessa, we learn that Amuro and Sayla might be new types, a person that has evolved to have heightened senses, making them better pilots. At night, Makuve sends a special team of Zeon Aces, the Black Tri-Stars, to attack the white base. The team holds off the enemies, but they're losing. As the battle progresses, Amuro awakens his new type abilities further and fend off the enemy's coordinated attacks. In the end, with the team's help, the Black Tri-Stars are defeated and Makuve is forced to retreat. He brings a large amount of materials with him as he flies off into space to the Zeons. The team continues their journey to Odessa, but it's intercepted by an attack by Hamon, Ramba Rao's lover, who's trying to avenge him. She rams her ship, filled with explosives, towards the white base. Amuro is able to stop it, but she flies off and shoots him from behind. Right when she's about to destroy the Gundam, Jose rams himself into Hamon, killing them both. After the battle, the team paid respect to the soldiers that died as they fly past the war-torn landscape. At a seaport, White Base docks for repairs and supplies. Kai, who's tired of fighting the war, decides to leave White Base and live a civilian life. While he's outside, Kai befriends a girl Miharu, despite knowing that she's working as a spy for Char. However, when he realizes the White Base is under attack, Kai has a sudden change of heart and returns to the white base to help. The ship flies off to escape the attacks. Miharu sneaks on board as they take off. While on board, she meets Kai and he keeps her presence a secret, and she begins to develop feelings for people on board. As they fly over the ocean, the Zeons attack once again, this time from underwater. Regretting that she leaked their location earlier, and hoping to protect everyone on board, Miharu decides to join Kai in fighting off the enemies. They successfully defeat the enemy together, but she dies in the process, which saddens Kai greatly. After the team flies across the ocean, arrives Jaburo, a secret Federation base hidden underground. They receive supplies and repairs and are evaluated for new type potentials. They are then ordered to head to space towards Solomon, a Zeon base on an asteroid. As they prepare to leave for space, a team of Zeon amphibious mobile suits led by Char begin to sneak into Jaburo. They plant explosives on the mass-produced Gundam GMs, but the plan is foiled by Amuro and meddling kids. Char escapes as the Zeon fleet begin their all attack on Jaburo. On his way out, he once again meets Amuro, but this time they are more evenly matched, as Amuro has become a better pilot. He escapes in his damaged amphibious mobile suit. After the battle, the team heads to space and docks at Site 6, where Amuro runs into his father, who he previously thought was dead from the Zeon attacks. He reunites with his father, but unfortunately he later finds out the accident has left his father with brain damage, as he is acting delusional. In the end, Amuro decides to leave his father as he drives off. On his way back to the white base, his car gets stuck, and that's when he runs into Char and Lala, a new type from Zeon's lab. Char gets off the car to help Amuro, and that's the first time they encounter each other in person. Amuro quickly drives out after the car is fixed. As White Base leaves Site 6 to rendezvous with the main Federation forces, they are attacked by the Zeon once again, but this time they're easily defeated as Amuro is slowly becoming a fully developed new type. After they leave Site 6, they wait outside an abandoned colony to rendezvous with Federation's main fleet. They see a Zeon ship outside, so Amuro goes in to investigate. He runs into Char testing his new mobile suit inside the colony, and they started fighting each other, as Lala watches on the hill. After an explosion caused heavy damage to the colony, they both retreat. Seeing the explosion, the White Base sends search party for the Gundam. Sayla, who's actually Char's sister, Artesia, encounters Char again. And we finally learn Char's plan as he explained it to Artesia. Their father, who was the head of Zeon, was assassinated by Degan Zabi, the head of the Zabi family. After their father's death, Degan and his family takes over the Principality of Zeon. The Zabi family then calls themselves the Elite and started a war against the Earth Federation for the Zeon's independence. Char, whose actual name is Casval, disguises himself to plan his revenge against the Zabi family in secret. Char was not able to convince Sayla to join him, so he leaves. After the White Base team recovers the Gundam, they finally rendezvous with the main fleet, and they attack Zeon's Solomon base together. In the middle of the battle, the Earth Federation deploys a secret weapon, the Solar Flare System, and fires it from a distance, heavily damaging the Solomon base. After the attack, Dozo Zabi evacuates his wife and his daughter Minerva as he gets into the Big Zam, a powerful mobile armor that's impervious to the attacks from the battleships. The Big Zam easily destroys multiple battleships while deflecting all of their attacks. In order to stop the Big Zam, Slugger slams himself into the undercarriage of the Big Zam, sacrificing himself, while Amuro deals heavy close-range attacks using his beam saber. After the Big Zam is severely damaged, Dozo, who refuses to accept his defeat, goes outside and shoots the Gundam with his machine gun, but he ultimately perishes with the Big Zam in the explosion. After the Federation wins the battle, they use Solomon as its own base. As the Federation fleet advances further towards the Zeon home base, they're attacked by the new type squadron led by Char. Lala attacks the fleet remotely using the new type weapon Bits. The remote weapon is very effective, but Amuro is able to shoot them down one by one using his new type powers. As he gets closer to Lala, they realize each other's identity. Through a new type telepathic bonding, they realize they're each other's soulmate. The bonding was cut short as Char enters the battlefield and starts to attack Amuro. They are equally matched. His sister, Sayla, enters the battlefield, hoping to stop them from fighting each other, but he ends up distracting Char, allowing Amuro to heavily damage him. Right when Amuro is about to deal the final blow to Char, Lala knocks away Char and receives the fatal blow, killing her instantly. Both Char and Amuro retreat as they are saddened by the death of Lala. After the battle, the Earth Federation continued to plan their attacks on the Zeon. Dekin Zabi, the current figurehead of the Zeon forces, who's tired of the war, secretly meets with General Revel, the head of the Earth Federation forces, to negotiate a peace treaty. As they are on their way to the negotiation, Giren, the most ambitious son of the Zabi family, fires Zeon's secret weapon, the solar array, killing his father along with a large portion of Federation's fleet. After his father's death, Giren becomes the supreme commander of the Zeon forces. He rallies the troops at Al-Baku, Zeon's final stronghold, and gets ready to fight with the Federation's forces as they approach. Before the battle begins, Giren's sister, Kycilia, who's now second in charge, gives Char the ultimate mobile suit, Zeon, a powerful, incomplete mobile suit built for the new type. Using the Zeon, Char is able to destroy battleship easily and be on equal footing against the Gundam. At Al-Baku, Kycilia confronts Giren about the death of their father, and kills him from behind, and assumes command of the Zeon forces. The two sides continue to battle. The Zeons have superior mobile suits, but the pilots are less experienced. Char finally finds Amuro in the battlefield, and they engage in battle once again. They blame each other for Lala's death as they exchange fire. Amuro gains the upper hand, as he has developed his new type powers further than Char. White Base suffers heavy damage from enemy fire and crash lands on Al-Baku as everyone escapes. Amuro sneaks up on Char, shoots Zeon in the chest, destroying its body. But Char escapes as the pilot's seat is in the head. Amuro chases after him. Kycilia realizes the Zeon will ultimately lose, so she plans her escape and the surrender of the Zeon forces. Not knowing where Char will be attacking from, Amuro puts the Gundam on remote as he enters Al-Baku. As Char attacks from above, Gundam returns fire simultaneously, destroying each other. Char escapes the explosion and confronts Amuro in person. They argue over the death of Lala as they begin to fight each other. Sayla, who enters Al-Baku to look for Char and Amuro, finds them fencing each other with rapiers. Through a new type bonding with Lala and help from Sayla, they decide to stop the fight as an explosion separates the group. Amuro applies first aid to himself, and Char finds a dying soldier that tells him the whereabouts of Kycilia. As Kycilia prepares to escape, Char shows up in front of their ship, killing her through the cockpit window, avenging the death of his father. Amuro finds a heavily damaged Gundam. Using his new type telepathy, he warns everyone from the White Base to escape before the Al-Baku explodes. Everyone safely leaves Al-Baku on their lifeboat. As they look back at the explosion, they wonder if Amuro is able to escape. As they are about to give up hope, they see Amuro flying out of the explosion in the Gundam's core fighter, happily reuniting with everyone on the lifeboat. The war ends in the year 0080. The Earth Federation and the Zeon signs a peace treaty as the movie ends. So that was it. That was the original Gundam. What do you guys think? If you like Gundam recaps, you can check out my playlist here. If you like this kind of video, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.